Okay, hello everybody, welcome. This is Andy Demi here with Capital Markets Elite Group. Welcome to today's webinar. So today's webinar is going to be on how to shorten your time horizon to avoid fundamental mistakes. So we'll be looking at various important topics, and we will be also going through live markets today. Okay, so just before we begin, if I can get a quick sound check, please let me know if you guys can hear me and if you can see my screen, and I am going to get started. Okay, perfect. So let's begin with the risk disclaimer. So everybody, this is the boring part, but the very important part. We are all going into trading, because we want to make money. However, everything that we discuss today is for education purposes only, okay? Because the realities is that trading carries risk, and you need to be aware of the risk. So please take a minute, have a look through the risk disclaimer, make sure you're happy with everything that it says there, and then we will proceed to the presentation. Now, whilst you do read that, again, I just want to stress that the goal of this webinar and any future webinars is simply to help you make better informed decisions, because the realities is that we cannot win in trading every single time, but what we are looking for is an edge. Okay, we're looking to improve our chances of doing well, and the way that we do that is through education, and that's the whole point of this. So anything we cover today, please do not deem it as financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, but I am a trader, okay, and I've been trading the markets now for 20 years, and so I feel like I can definitely give you all some tips and value tonight. Okay, so with that being said, let's talk a little bit about today's agenda. So firstly, here's what we want to talk about: how to use trend lines and moving averages to spot the best setup. Why it's important to analyze assets on multiple timeframes to locate short and long-term support and resistance. How to use Fibonacci Retracement Levels to determine potential inflection points. And finally, the pros and cons of day trading and how to determine if the strategy is right for you. Okay, so the goal is for us to do all of this, to cover today's agenda by looking directly in the live markets. That's where we learn. That's where we are not doing hindsight, but actually looking at what is happening right now. Okay, that's the important part. So with that being said, I am going to bring in our charting platform. And today we're going to be focused on equities. We're going to be focused on looking at some of the US indices, and we're going to be looking at some of the US stocks. Okay. Now, if you do have any requests, please do type them out, and I'm more than happy to take requests. But I definitely want to start by looking at the indices. Now, this is how you can, very simply set up your charts so that it's simple to see, easy to follow, and nothing really that complicated. Okay, and we always want to look at charts from a multiple time frame point of view. So in this case, I always like to start with the weekly charts, and what I like to do is I like to look at the moving averages, because they do help us firstly find support and resistance. But secondly, they kind of give us an idea as to what is happening in the market. So, you know, if, for example, you want to trade a stock that is, you know, part of the NASDAQ, okay? Do you think it will be important to understand and realize, you know, what the NASDAQ is actually doing? You know, is it in a strong trend? Is it going sideways? Is it retracing? Is it going down? If you are trading with this in the same direction as the index, well, the likelihood is that your stock trade is going to have a much higher probability of working out, okay? So here's what we've got. It's just the NASDAQ, and we have various moving averages here, okay? So here we have the 200 moving average, and then we have the 50 moving average, and then here we have the 20 moving average, okay? And so what does this tell us? Well, one of the things it tells us is, you know, when the 50 moving average is above the 200, that is regarded as a long opportunity for the long term. And so when it crosses below it, then that trend potentially ends. And then when we're looking at the shorter term moving averages, it kind of tells us where we are going right now. So if you have a look here, you can see that the market has come back to this long-term moving average. And, you know, and these moving averages are all kind of sitting together. Okay, so what does that mean? What does it mean when moving averages here are all kind of converging? Well, it means that the price is at the moment consolidating. In other words, it's not really expansive to the upside, it's not moving to the downside. It's basically pretty much mostly going sideways. And it's our job to figure out when that sideways price action might end. So let's do a little bit of analysis, right? So if we kind of take the, let's have a little look and see what we can do here. So let's take a trend line, okay, and connect this little bit of support right there. That is essentially a support point. So support, 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 support. You can see the market is essentially bouncing from that. And then we can actually even take this and move it up like that and see where else it's acting as, you know, same line. Look how it was acting as resistance, 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 right? So what we can do is we can also take this high point here, right there, as resistance, and notice how the market is right now finding resistance at that point, okay? And if we were to break above that, then we might find some resistance a little bit higher, okay? Now, you might be thinking, well, okay, how do we know which one to use? Well, we want to kind of find more than one reason, okay? So that's where we can find, for example, support and resistance points, horizontal support and resistance points. So if we kind of look to do that, I'm going to have a look at where there might be some levels. So here we have a horizontal line tool, and I'm going to put that there. There you go. You can see resistance. We have some nice support that became resistance, and we are currently above that. And so we can also look above that, and you can see that, let's have a look. Here there's a little bit of resistance. Okay, lots of price action here, where it kind of is rejecting on both sides. And then here we rejected it, and then here we rejected it, and that's basically where we are right now. And if we kind of, you know, use this line that we identified, you can basically see right now that we are at a little bit of resistance here, okay? Now, if we were to, if we're going to break out from this, we're going to need to see some good, bullish price action. So a strong bullish green candle, and ideally with an increase in volume. But right now, what I see is sideways price action. Okay, there's nothing here telling me that we are necessarily breaking higher. Now, you can go a little bit deeper on this. We can go and look at, say, for example, a 4-hour time frame and see if there's any kind of clues being left in the in this market. So below the chart, you can see we have some indicators. So here we have the MACD, okay, and then here we have the RSI. Now, the RSI is actually in an overbought scenario on the 4-hour time frame, which basically means it's time to sell. Okay, now if we kind of go back and see what happened in the past, you can see that during this phase here it was overbought, but it didn't start to fall until it went below this 70 mark here, and then the market actually fell. And you can see in this case we have gone just slightly above the 70. We've gone back down, and now it looks like to me that the Nasdaq is more likely to come down. Okay, so you can see bearish price action there so far on this time frame, right at that resistance level that we identified there on the weekly chart. Okay, the MACD on the other hand is kind of saying a slightly different picture, because we've actually crossed above, which is bullish. And if you have a look in the past, like here, we had a bullish price action, and then look how the market did a really nice rally. Then it crossed below and the market pulled back, and then it crossed above and the market went higher. And then here we had a bit of a false signal to exit, and then it went back above it like there, and then below it. And then here we basically, this is what we call divergence, by the way, everybody. So you can see the market was making higher highs like that. The price action was like this, and the MACD was going lower highs. The price was higher highs. In other words, this is called divergence. Okay. Okay, and eventually the market then sold off. And then right now we have crossed above, so that's bullish. Okay, the moving averages are all aligned, so you've got the blue above the red above the green. That's exactly what you want to see. So this could be, it could be a case that maybe we pull back. Okay, maybe we pull back and find some support at these moving averages. We could probably draw, let me just delete these trend lines. We could probably draw a nice trend line here. Like that. And you can see that if this market was to kind of pull back, immediately I'd be kind of thinking, is there going to be any support here around this sort of area here, maybe around 55-ish, which then means that maybe this will go down a little bit, but this will stay above. The buy signal will remain, and that's maybe what will happen, and then we might then potentially take off. Okay, so at the moment it's kind of a wait and see on the Nasdaq. Now, let's also take a little look at the S&P 500. Okay, so this is the S&P 500. Let's make these indicators smaller so you can see that this one looks like it's fired some time ago around here, and since then the market has been in a really nice uptrend. Okay, however, the RSI is also overbought here, and I'd be kind of watching it to see if it's going to go below this 70. Okay, But let's go to the weekly chart. So that's the 4-hour time frame. Let's have a little look at the weekly chart. Okay, so on the weekly chart, this one actually looks more bullish. So you can see we've really kind of taken off from the moving averages, and you know, we've had a cross of the 20 over the 50 there. So short term, that's what it kind of tells us. Short term, it looks like there's some nice momentum up. The MACD's crossed up, and the RSI has got some room to the upside as well. So this could be, you know, an interesting point. Is, I guess the question is that are we going to take out these highs? Okay, and if we do take out these highs, then there's a lot of potential to go higher again. Okay, so let's have a little play around and see what else we can see here, so we can kind of work out maybe some potential targets. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just connecting some channel resistance, resistance, and you can see that the next bit of resistance comes in a little bit higher around this kind of 490 area. Okay, now let me have a little look to see what else we can see here. So we can see that we have, hold on, I'm going to just zoom out because this is, yeah, this looks like a, you know, an all-time high. So what we might have to do here is we could use the Fibonacci to give us another price projection, especially if we were to take over this. So we can take a low point to a high point. This is the last low and high there, and we can use our Fibonacci tool, which is available on the platform. So we go from low, whoops, wrong way around, sorry. So that's the high point. There's a swing low. And then we'll have a little look to see where this market pulled back. So at the moment, it came back to the, hold on, let's just correct this a little bit. It came back to the 61.8. That's known as the golden ratio, and that is the most popular one. And then we have, as a target, we would be looking at the 1618, which you could just see up there, okay? So it would be kind of close to about 500. So I think naturally that might be the area that we might be looking to target, okay? Yeah, absolutely. So let me know if anyone's got any questions before we proceed into the into looking at some of the stocks. Okay, no questions. Okay, cool, no problem. So let's go ahead and have a little look. Let me know if you've got any requests. So I'm gonna just have a little look to see what I have here on my watch list. So let's have a little look at NVIDIA. Now, NVIDIA has been killing it with graphics cards, and you know, and also with its kind of, you know, especially with AI, it's become very, very, very overpriced. Now, it can, of course, continue to go higher, but it's done a lot. You know, it's already done a lot. So let me just clean this up a little bit. So this is our weekly chart. Now, if you compare this to what we were seeing on the NASDAQ, for example, you can clearly see this is what bullish price action really looks like. So you've got you've got basically these moving averages that are fanning. Okay, so you have the 20 above the 50, above the 200, and you can see that they're all pointing up. And when you see the market holding on the 20, it means that the market is essentially moving in, in a fast direction. Now, if you kind of study what was going on before, you can see that most of this uptrend, it was mostly pulling back to the 20 or back to the 50. And it wasn't really until we broke the 50 where we had a really decent retracement. So for me, any kind of buying activity, as long as we stay above this 50, buying this stock makes much more sense than selling it. If we were to break through this moving average here, for example, like that, then the next area that I would be looking at would be this area here, which would be the 200 moving average. Okay, and you can see it's also a very reactive area of support and resistance there. So any pullback down there would be seen as really, really good value. Now, that would be a big, big pullback. You're looking at basically this halving from where we are right now. Okay, so right now, as I said, we are focused more on the buy side. So even for trading purposes, any small pullbacks I think could be really great for buying. Now, if we just, whilst we're on this weekly time frame, if we just simply draw, let's get our trend line tool out. I'm just going to draw this support line here. That there looks like a really nice support line, okay? And so if we kind of pull back into this area, that looks pretty nice. And then we can also, yeah, I think that's enough. But we can also, I was going to say, we can also draw a horizontal line here as well. So let's do that, in fact. So let's get that draw that and see where the market was reacting there. So look, that area there for me looks like a really nice value area, which is around 395. So 395 could be a really nice buy zone, okay, approximately somewhere around there. And then, like I said, if we were to break through here, then I would be looking really in this kind of area, and also I do like this area here as well, because the market really, really took off here. So this is where some really big buying activity came in. Let me see, yeah, it looks like a good horizontal level there as well. So I'm just going to mark this area down as well, because I think, look, we had resistance there, became support, really, really broke out. So this looks like, some major players were buying this. And so again, this could be a really nice area around 282 for that kind of long-term buying potential. Okay. Now, yeah, so with this one, I'm not going to go into the lower time frames. I'm just going to move on, because I think this is a good area. But if this does take this high and it closes above it on the weekly, that's when it's really worth dropping down to the hourly chart and paying really close attention to those pullbacks into the moving averages. Okay, guys, let me know if that makes sense, everybody. I'm just going to take a sip of water. Okay, so the next one I want to look at here is Apple. Now, again, this is a very, very nice trending stock. You can see that, we've had a bit of a retracement here. And, once this market really took out this channel resistance here, you know, it kind of came back. So we had resistance, resistance, resistance. It came back as support. Look at the moving averages here. We had the 20 cross above the 50. The market really took off, pulled back into the moving averages, and this channel line is now propelling higher. So it's at a high point right now, but you know, kind of looking at this, this looks like it's going to break through, but it's a bit of a dangerous area now to kind of be buying this. So I would probably wait for it to break, or I would wait for this to, you know, come back and give us a pullback area. Let's see if we can find any, you know, diagonal support lines that could be interesting to look at. So that is a very nice reactive line. So you've got support, 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 and then, you know, look at this for a really nice area as well. Really nice horizontal area there. Look at the resistance, support, support, resistance, resistance, resistance. So I actually think that anywhere kind of in this block here would represent nice value on this particular one. So we're looking at really between 162.70 and 148. Those look like nice areas to be looking for, you know, for this to potentially go higher. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for long term. Right now on the lower time frames, I mean, if we look at the 4-hour, it probably is overextended. Yeah, I mean, the RSI is a little bit overbought here. I mean, yes, the MAs are nicely fanning, but you can see it's a little bit away from this 220. I don't know if I'd feel too comfortable buying at these high points right now. I think I'd rather see this market really close above here. Otherwise, you know, I'd be kind of a little bit wary just in case we do have a pullback. So just look out for, you know, a potential cross here like we did here, that we got here, the 20 crossing below the 50. And as you can see, that it's created a deeper pullback. Right now, that isn't the case. The MAs are fanning nicely, and you know, it's you know, it's just a simple, you know, it's a pretty simple idea right now. For me, I'd want to see a break above these highs, and then I'd be much more comfortable playing, you know, this uptrend. Okay. Right, let's have a little look to see what else we have. So I've got a little watch list here. I'm going to have a little look at Tesla. Now, look at Tesla. So Tesla's an interesting on the 4-hour, but let's go to the weekly time frame first. Okay. So you can see with Tesla, it's really not doing much at the moment. Okay, it's a really tricky one to, you know, I would probably, if you're going to trade this, you're probably going to want to be trading ranges, okay, because it's really going sideways. I mean, if we take this trendline tool and connect it, you can kind of see pretty much what's happening here. You know, like, I'll just clean this up a little bit, but you can kind of see it's at resistance. I mean, right now, it's very difficult. You can see the price is getting squeezed. There's really not a lot to kind of work with here. Okay, so I would say right now with Tesla, you know, until we kind of get a break above, this is an okay one for range trading. I mean, this is the weekly. You can see it's really not moving anywhere. It's high testing, low testing. So, you know, if you kind of go into the lower time frames, if you kind of like to trade ranges, this looks like a perfect one, you know, short term at least anyway. You can see this is pretty much going sideways. So you've got these kind of, you know, rough resistance points and then rough support points like that. Okay, so And you can see right now we're kind of at a high point. Look at the last high point we had. The market really sold off, and then we had a lot of another high point. We got the signal there, and then the market sold off. And right now, this has just gone below. So for me, this looks like another one that is most likely to kind of go down towards that support. Now, if we were to break through and have a really strong close, that's when I'd be more interested in trading a trend. But right now, going sideways looks more likely. Just bear in mind, I mean, it's quite aggressive buying here. It's probably the most aggressive that we've seen. I mean, we've seen a little bit of buying activity here. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars in a row. And this one had 1, 2, 3, only 3, but it's the speed that it's gone up on. However, even with that in mind, I'd still favor the downside. So for me, it's either wait, let the market show us, or I'd be more focused towards the downside there. Okay. Okay, so it looks like, guys, we were, for some reason, the screen wasn't showing this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go back to some of these currencies that we were looking at, and let's just review them again. Okay, so sorry about that. For some reason, something happened there. I was just informed that my screen wasn't showing the chart. It was only showing the agenda. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back and have a little look again very quickly at, so let me talk you through. I've already done the lines, so it shouldn't take us long to go back. So here's the NASDAQ. Okay, so let's have a little look at the weekly time frame. Okay. So this is what I was mentioning before about the MAs basically squeezing here, and you can see that we are really at these resistance points. So I initially took this support point here, this channel line, and then I basically moved this up. And you can see, these horizontal levels here as well. The NASDAQ right now, with the MAs converging like that, looks like, it's essentially going sideways, okay? And then when we looked at the lower time frames, if we just go through that now, you can see, the RSI is overbought, and it looks like, the market could pull back, okay? And then if we quickly look at the S&P 500, it's the S&P 500. This one looks much more bullish. So you can see here, the MA is really nicely pulling out, 20 above the 50, 50 above the 200, and you can see that it's really looking very, very nice. But we do have this high point here, okay? But I do think it looks like it can break through, but it's a little bit tricky right now. So I would kind of favor a pullback, maybe back into here, okay, into the 200, before taking a longer term long. If we were to close above here on the weekly, then that would kind of confirm the continuation of the uptrend, and then we can start to look at the lower time frames, okay? Let's see what else we looked at. So we did look at that. We also looked at, hold on. We looked at Tesla. So this is Tesla, okay? Again, very, very squeezy price action here. You can see very, very up and down, high test, low test. And if you kind of go over to the 1 hour time frame, you can see we are overbought here. We are, even though this is a strong move here, it is basically at resistance, and you can kind of see that this is a very much a kind of, rangy channel there. Okay, so I would either wait for the break or you can trade the range. Next, we did look at, which other one did we look at? Amazon. No, I didn't look at Amazon, sorry guys. Apple, that's it. Apple, so Apple, if we look at the weekly time frame, so Apple looks, it looks quite strong. MA is pointing nicely. However, again, we're at a high point right now. I'll just be a little bit cautious around here. I would really favor this little block here to buy. Okay, really nice resistance. I like this area between 163 and 151 as a pullback area. If we were to break higher though and take out this high, that's when I would be thinking, okay, any pullbacks then, would be great, because you're looking at, a market that's trending higher highs and higher lows essentially. So, but right now at this high point, we've had some good resistance here before. I would be a little bit more cautious. If we look at the lower time frames, like the hourly time frame, you can see, they are nice fanning towards the upside, but I would just be a little bit cautious here. Okay, I would want this to go a bit higher before I start to look at buying the trend. Otherwise, let's look for a deeper pullback. And you can also use the Fibonacci as well. So if we just take the Fibonacci retracement from low to high, this here is a value area. So the 61.8, which comes in about 180, looks like a really nice area, which has had really nice price action before. So if we're going to get a bit of a correction, okay, then this area here for me looks like a very nice area around that sort of 178. Okay, let's have a little look at some more here. So let's go and look at the chart of Google here. So Google, you can see lower time frame looks very sideways here. If we just have a little look at the, let's make this bigger, the weekly chart as well. Okay, so here's our weekly chart. And I kind of like this area. I've marked this down before. I like that area there. It's a really nice reactive line, and I think that it can, it can certainly get there. But right now it's really sideways here. It's kind of just trying to build up a little bit of energy. Let's get a trend line tool and see if we can find some support here. So we've got a nice little bit of support there. Yeah, I mean, this area here looks quite nice. Nice horizontal level as well. I like to, when it's a bit of a zone, I like to just put in a little bit of the rectangle instead. So it's kind of a zone then, because I don't have an exact level. Just kind of around here could be quite interesting. It's a little bit off-putting kind of seeing this really strong bearish weekly bar. So, I think, we have a really nice bullish bar there. I'm just wondering, if we can kind of get a little bit of a pullback, maybe towards the 200 moving average, and this area here, maybe, you can kind of connect a support line there. I think this sort of area here, about 110, could be a nice value area to kind of propel us back towards there. Alternatively, if this just does kind of go up, I would be very cautious here, especially for any fake breaks, sorry. So ideally, a pushback towards 110 could be a nice value area for a push towards 155 for a swing trade. Okay, and the thing with these kind of trades is that, you know, if you're going to do swing trades, you know, you don't have to stare at screens like day trading. So, you know, one of the agendas for today is like, you know, day trading. So day trading, you know, the pros are you get lots of opportunities. The cons are you have to be in front of your screens a lot of the time for day trading. Whereas this type of trading, swing trading here, you know, you can kind of place a limit order and then just kind of leave the market alone. So so these are quite nice, especially if you have work and you don't want to stare at screens all day. Okay, so let's have a little look and see what else is around. I mean, I mentioned Amazon, so we have a look at a little look at Amazon. So Amazon is basically at a resistance point, really strong old support, naturally becomes resistant. I think Amazon right now is definitely not a buy. You can see even from the price action there, it's just really not going anywhere, rejecting these kind of high points. I think I'd really need to see a break above this block here to really get bullish on this. But even then, there's a lot of resistance to get through. I'm not a big fan of trading this one to the long side. I think Amazon right now is kind of like, you know, you're going to be more looking towards value areas to trade. And for those that are comfortable with short selling, I think this is quite a decent one to think about short selling as well. So if we take the channel line there, so this support line here, that looks to me like a really nice target to go for right there. Okay, nice horizontal level as well. I think this area here looks like a decent area. Okay, so that again, that's about that sort of 119, 120 area. That could be quite interesting to consider. And let's have a little look at the lower time frame and see if there's any opportunity to actually potentially sell this as well. So if we go to the 1 hour time frame, we can see that, yeah, this is, I mean, let's try and yeah, so that's a nice resistance there. I mean, if you want to get a little bit of confirmation, you kind of use the same line there. Okay, and so if you don't want to, you can either sell at a high point. So if we were to kind of go back towards here, like there, you could be looking at selling at a high point, or you could wait for a break. Maybe we take out these lows and then look for pullbacks. Okay, to then maybe sell lower. Okay, and you know, kind of targets could be old resistance like here. So let's not do it freehand. Let's grab our rectangle right there. Yeah, so that looks like a really nice kind of area to potentially look to target. Okay, so I think any breaks, I think that area there, old resistance becomes support. That could be quite nice. Okay, and then, you know, we can see that we have a gap fill down here as well. Sometimes the markets will like to come and fill their gap. So if there's a bigger drop in the wider market, then this could really have a big drop. You know, and actually possibly even fill its gap. Okay, but that would be around the sort of 120 area. Okay, let me have a little look at the that weekly chart again. 120. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, that's exactly where we were looking at, wasn't it? So, you know, that does look quite nice, doesn't it? I didn't realize there's a gap there. So 120 for me on Amazon looks like a really, really nice zone for a bounce. So that's where I would, around that kind of area, that's where I would be placing my buy trades, okay, on this stock. Let's see what else we have, guys. Let's have a little look and see. Let's have a look, not the Vanguard, sorry. Let's have a look at Microsoft. So Microsoft, okay. Just gonna get the big picture. So you can see, wow, it's been in such a great trend. Again, you know, looks like, you know, we've kind of gone into consolidation. You can see that from the candles. Like this is a nothing candle, very small. You know, closes where it opens. It's very small rejection, very small rejection on the downside. This is a typical kind of range. So either we carry on going sideways, or potentially we might even pull back. I mean, you can see this is the RSI, it's overbought. Excuse me. And you know, if we have a look here, didn't really fall a lot, but it did have a bit of a drop, at least back to the 20 here. And then here we did have, I mean, this one didn't really do much here, a bit of a false signal. This one, however, did have a really significant drop. So right now, again, I would favor the downside. Also, there is some divergence here. Okay, so let me point it out to you. So this market has made a new high that MACD has not. So that to me points lower. Okay, that's the most likely. And you know, we can at least target this support line if you are selling this. Okay, and then this is the first kind of area of support. You can see it's actually quite a nice zone. So it might be a case that we get, you know, for short-term traders, this zone here looks pretty decent all the way down to there. That zone between 338 and 315 looks like a really nice support zone. If we go down to the hourly, that's kind of all the way down here. So it's yeah, let's yeah, this area here does look nice, I've got to say. Lots of price action. Around there. And you know, one of the things that you can also look at on the lower time frames is, you know, is this market making, you know, lower lows, lower highs? I mean, at the moment it's kind of, there's a lot of support here. We don't really want to sell at support. Okay, so right now it's at a support point. You can't really sell that. So right now I would kind of just wait and watch this and see what happens. Also, if we are going to break lower, I kind of want to see a decent significant bar, you know, with an increase in volume. And look, you can see we're oversold here on the 1 hour. So right now, what you'd really want to see if this is going to break lower is consolidation, okay, like that, as the RSI goes overbought. Okay, and that will then probably then look to break. That's the ideal sort of scenario. Okay, but right now I would just kind of monitor this one. All right, let's have a look to see what else we have. Let's have a little look at Walt Disney. So Walt Disney, if we take a look at the weekly time frame, I should have some analysis on this one. Yeah, so you can see here, again, it's very much consolidating. You can see that from the moving averages, really not doing a lot here. This is a good one if you want a range trade. So you kind of not expecting this to go far. So, high points to sell, low points to buy. It's not a perfect textbook example, but let's see if we can kind of find, where this market is liking to bounce. I think that's pretty much it, isn't it? You can see this is where it's getting the most touches of resistance. And here we're getting a little bit of kind of support. So really any point above, around here would be great for potential selling, back towards here. Okay. At the moment, you can see RSI overbought, and it's crossing low. It's already got some price action, but again, we are now at old resistance that becomes support, and naturally we might have another attempt to break. So another way of playing this, by the way, is you don't necessarily have to sell as it gets to a high point. One other really clever play is something like this, where sometimes you get that kind of fake break like here. So if you ever get a break above and then it closes back below, they're one of the highest probability setups. So break above, close back below, you can put your stop there and then target back below. And that's essentially what that play there was. So this is a nice one to kind of monitor. Good one for a sideways, kind of strategy. Let's go to Netflix. I think we looked at Netflix. No, we haven't looked at Netflix. So Netflix next. Let's have a little look at the weekly time frame. Start with that always. Really not doing a lot of resistance, similar to Amazon, lots of resistance here, same kind of sector. And yeah, again, I would be favoring the short side here. Okay, I mean, it's struggling to break through here, so I would be thinking, let's go to the lower time frame. We could definitely look for shorts towards this area of old resistance and this area of support, which is around 370. So if we go to the 1 hour time frame, it might be easier to see. Yeah, so at the moment we are essentially trending higher on the lower time frames. You can see that with the moving averages as well. So a really simple thing to be able to do is draw your trend line. Okay, hold on, let's do it a little bit better. Like that. Here's your support line. And then you can see that this market at the moment is making, on this lower time frame, higher highs and higher lows. But as we saw on the higher time frames, there is a lot of resistance up here. And so what we want to kind of see is this market make a lower high. Sorry, that should be a high. And then as it starts to break this area here, make a lower low. And that means that any pullbacks then, we could then start to sell down, okay, towards those targets. So that's kind of what I would play. I definitely wouldn't look to buy this right now with that major resistance on the weekly. I'd definitely kind of play the waiting game on this one and play the downside, okay? And if you're kind of trading both sides, it's kind of good because then you're market hedged. In other words, like if you imagine you take a short in Netflix, a short in Amazon, and then you buy, a couple of the other stocks that look more favorable to the upside. Well, no matter what happens with the index, you're hedged because you've got too short and too long. Okay, so that way, you're less likely to be exposed to market risk, if that makes sense. Okay. Right, let's see if we can look at another one before we finish up, guys. ASML holding. This is a really, really nice trend. Really nice trend. Look at this. I mean, that's really nice on the hourly time frame. Let's have a little look to see what the weekly looks like. Yeah, so the weekly is right at that resistance and it's looking strong. Okay, it looks like at the moment it's got power. Question is it going to break above here? Because I think if we close above here, I would really, really, really love to trade, you know, that hourly or 4-hour time frame, you know. But right now, I would just kind of wait for the weekly to close. But you know, if we just kind of, this is the 4-hour time frame. You can see it's kind of run away a little bit from its 20 as well. You don't really want to be trading that far away from the moving average because naturally it's going to want to pull back. Okay, so in simple terms, if we can get a close above on the weekly, it's already the end of the week now, then that will signal, you know, that the market is bullish and it's likely to continue higher. And then next week, you know, any kind of pullbacks towards these moving averages will look like really good buying opportunities. And you can kind of go back as well and see how this market has moved in the past. Seems to like it's 50. So that could be a really nice area to kind of look for. Obviously, this is going to be moving up, but you know, to maybe something to match some old horizontal levels, like for example, this area here looks quite nice. We just mark this down here. That looks like a very reactive line. Lots of support and resistance, 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 support. So I think that, you know, if we get a nice strong close, this area here matching with the 50 looks like a really nice, you know, around that 696.22 area looks perfect as a zone to consider going long. But I'd like to see the weekly close bullish first before we kind of look at that. Okay, guys. Let me see if I can have a look at another one because I know we which one have we not covered yet? So Estee Lauder. Let's bring up the weekly. Sorry guys, I know some of this looks a little bit messy. I was just analyzing the charts. RSI looks strong, looks like it's starting to take off. Nice bullish price action there as well. I don't know if you can see it properly. Let's clean it up a little bit. Yeah. I kind of like this price action. I think it's pretty nice. I think this looks really quite bullish. And it looks like we've, you know, even though we are below the moving averages, I do like this kind of rounded price action here. RSI's gone higher, the MACD's just crossed. This could be a start of a new uptrend here. I think we could have a nice push on this. And, you know, these type of stocks as well, they can do quite well during the sort of, you know, what we call the Santa Claus rally, you know, leading up to Christmas. So this could be a nice one to trade long. Let's have a little look at the 4-hour time frame. Yeah, it looks nice. I mean, look, the MAs are starting to, you know, just gone above the 200 there. The 20 and the 50 look quite nice. So any kind of pullbacks here could be quite nice to trade. And, you know, you can use the fibs as well. Maybe on this occasion, you know, you can kind of go with something like a lower, maybe the 38.2, which is around here, around that kind of 130 area. Obviously, this would be moving. If it goes higher, then you have to adjust this. Or the 618 for much better value. That looks really nice, that area, around that kind of 120 area, especially if we've got this trend line there. It'd be like a nice retest and then potentially higher. Okay, so that looks quite nice. Okay, So, guys, hope you found that useful. Apologies for the issue with the screen. We did cover all of the pairs that I wanted to cover anyway. You know, that's which is obviously the most important part. So guys, let me know if you've got any questions. Now, if you do want to get in touch, if there's any requests that you want to make for future webinars, then you can contact us direct here at Capital Markets Elite Group. You've got the phone number there, the email, the Facebook handle, the X handle, and Instagram there. So do get in touch. Let us know, you know, if you know what it is that will, you know, how we can service you, and you know, if you've got any questions and you need any support at all, or any requests or any feedback in general, anything is welcomed. Okay, guys. So thank you again. Thank you for being here, and I'll catch you again soon with another one. Take care.